Hello everyone and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Wednesday, October 11th, 2017. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everyone, you can help support our show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. In addition, we do go live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time on Facebook, and now, as of today, on YouTube, presuming that I got it to work and it is working correctly. Nathan, how are you doing today?
Meh.
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 A couple.
I don't really care.
You don't really care? Like, what, about anything?
No, that's not true. Like, I care about a lot of things. Just today, I don't really care about today. Meh.
Meh. Meh indeed. In any case, and we mentioned that we were going to be celebrating having a year's worth of episodes. Now, in terms of actual how long the show has been going, and it turns 2 years old in November. So in a little under a month, we'll have been recording for 2 years. However, in this particular case, though, we have hit our 365th episode, which means that we have a year's worth of episodes. If you started listening today, one episode a day, well, there'd be a lot more episodes by the time you got back up to this particular episode. But in either way, welcome everybody.
Hello.
So what did your day hold today, Nathan?
It was just a bunch of running around, really. Nothing really important happened today for me in the least. Actually, that's not true. Today was the second day in a row that I had to take in a $5,000 bail.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was a different person this time. $5,000 and hundreds this time. And it was on a felony arrest warrant. So I actually had to call the troopers first to get them up to arrest him. And then he was like, "Can I pay bail?" And we looked at his arrest warrant, and I was like, "Hell yeah, dude! You can pay bail." All of the fucking troopers wanted to goddamn arrest him now.
Because they're like, "Yes, we."
Don't paint them like that. They're great people, and they're very fucking hilarious.
They are great people. I will not deny that in any aspect. Mm-hmm. Although probably all the troopers that I knew when I worked there are probably gone now.
I don't know. Sharky's there.
Sharky is still there?
Yeah, dude. Sharky's there.
That's the only one that matters, so.
For real, though.
She is scary.
She just added me on Facebook.
She is scary.
Yeah. I love her. She's great. Easily one of my favorites.
Yeah, no. And she's funny, too. Like, she's got that perfect jaded attitude while still being very genuine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's great. Oh, it's so spot on.
So, now my question is, Nathan, are you able to see both the Facebook and the YouTube streams?
Well, okay, so the YouTube stream I have paused, and it's in this, like, cycle of circles. So
okay, because like, mine is playing right now, and I'm trying to see, I can't see Facebook either, but I realize that I'm trying to see which one is, if they're both coming through at the same time, or if one has a larger or a shorter delay.
Oh, I feel so sorry for my computer.
Oh, that's right. Your computer cries.
My computer cries at literally everything.
I mean, you can pause one of them. I was just curious. And on my screen, they're coming through at about the same time.
I have both of them paused.
Oh, that's fine. And your computer's still crying?
I can hear it.
You can hear your computer crying?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's great. I love streaming 3 things at once.
3? Oh, I guess your
Skype counts.
Yeah, you're sending me your video and your audio. Got it. Yeah. We need to get you a new computer. That needs to be next on the list.
Yeah, definitely.
And a new microphone setup, because yeah.
As long as I can play Cuphead in HD, I don't care.
Can't you already?
Yeah, technically.
I was like, is that game anywhere near intense?
No, but I played like an hour last night, and I only beat A level.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah, the game's kind of hard, all right? Fuck you.
Sherry in the chat room comments, new look. Yeah, one of the things we also wanted to do in celebration of hitting 365 episodes is that we updated our overlay. And
that's my mom, by the way. Shouts out to my mom.
And instead of having it look like a newspaper, we're like, we're more of like a news thing. I mean, that was the original idea behind the newspaper. We're like, actually, we're more like a news show. So we made the video overlay more like a news show, and also took away. There was so much text all the time that it looked really busy, and got us flagged on Facebook when we tried to run an ad, because Facebook has very strict rules about how much text can be on the image.
True.
But the hilarious thing about that is, though, by the way, is that they have rules about how much text can be on an image when it is being when you buy an ad through them. However, for our show, right? I mean, it just grabbed a still from the show. It wouldn't let me like choose a different thumbnail.
Weird.
So it's like you can't have too much text, but you're not allowed to change it since you already recorded the video. So haha, there, take that.
Dickheads.
Yeah, I was kind of like,
You get fucking trapped. That's a goddamn trap.
yeah, I was like that's a little bit rude. All right. In any case, though,
10.
student suspended for sitting through Pledge of Allegiance sues her high school.
Ooh, this was submitted by Sierra to Art Politics.
Yeah, so this was in high school. This was a young girl. She hasn't been standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, she estimates around maybe 200 times, so a lot, especially because they have it every morning. And, well, it wasn't a big deal until, because she got caught texting in class early in the morning, she was then sent to the principal's office. While she was at the principal's office, they had the Pledge of Allegiance coming through their speaker system, and she didn't stand while she was in the principal's office, and he sent her home and suspended her. And, said, you're not allowed to come back until you stand.
Funny story, before Colin Kaepernick did it, when I was in high school, I was doing it too. I was not standing during the Pledge of Allegiance. However, I was doing it because I was an anarchist. So it's slightly different.
I remember not doing it, but it wasn't for any particular reason. Mm-hmm. It was mostly just because I guess it was just being, a rebel, not standing for the allegiance.
Dude, I was so into anarchy, it almost got me suspended. It kind of got me expelled in a way.
Explain?
Well, you see, I had a friend who was also into anarchy, except he went a little too far, and he made pipe bombs. And he then traded it to my best friend for a bunch of weed. And then my best friend brought them to school and got caught.
Oh, that's bad.
And since I was his best friend and I had one of my books in his backpack and he kept them in his backpack, I got in trouble.
Oh.
For accessory.
That's real unfortunate.
Even though everyone in that year knew that he had them.
In any case, for this particular girl, she was suspended for 4 days before the principal changed their mind and said that she was allowed to come back to school, and the very next day her parents filed a lawsuit.
Fucking good. I'm glad they filed a lawsuit because it shouldn't have happened in the goddamn first place. Like, this is fucking stupid as shit to do.
Yeah.
This is all wrapped up in that whole Colin Kaepernick thing.
Well, and also, this happened in Texas, and in another school in Texas, 2 football players were completely kicked off the team for kneeling during the anthem.
And, people are yelling about about freedom of speech and everything. They're like, yeah, this is a freedom of speech thing, yes. And then other people are fucking angry that people are even expressing their freedom of speech, even though they're the giant perpetrators of, I can say whatever the fuck I want because it's freedom of speech.
Well, and the other thing is, it's like, they're really not hurting anybody.
No, they're not. They're butt hurting people. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's
the other thing is, I always felt because I have been effectively brainwashed, I do enjoy having the anthem played before sporting events, although that is a very American thing. I never really understood the Pledge of Allegiance because it feels so culty.
Yeah, it does. But, I can understand having a Pledge of Allegiance, right? I can understand forcing your nation to pledge allegiance to your nation. Every day, even. I can understand that. But, we're the country of freedom. We should be able to just say no whenever we want.
Well, and the other thing is I feel like it breeds too much of an us versus them mentality when that's such a bad mentality to ever get into. I mean, because people are like, oh, well, if we're America, we're made out of immigrants, so it's okay if you're French, but you have to swear your undying fealty to America or else. And it's like, no, you need to calm the hell down.
People are just way too closed-minded in their own countries.
Yeah.
Way too patriotic, which is unfortunate because, it's a good thing to be patriotic. It's a good thing to be for your country. But there are extremes in literally every way of thinking.
Yeah.
We've already gone over this several times.
So, either way, the school hasn't actually received the lawsuit yet. The parents just said that they went to the lawyer to begin the process of suing them. So, we may or may not hear back from this story. I mean, who knows?
I mean, it'd be kind of cool to do a follow-up.
Yeah. Oh, there's another thing that I forgot that we started today, and I realized I forgot to put it in the friggin' blurb on the Facebook, is we launched a subreddit today as well, and I'll be sure to drop a link into the chat at least somewhere in there. And it's in all the show notes that are available everywhere but Facebook. I guess it's available on Facebook too. It's pinned right there at the top. And the subreddit is reddit.com/r/iRedditcast. And I also had the question posed to me, why do you always do iRedditcast instead of iReddit? The reason for that is because iReddit, iReadit, is taken everywhere by people who aren't using it. The Twitter handle taken by an egg that has never had a single tweet in like the 4 years they've had the account. The subreddit has a single post on it from 9 months ago that literally says nice meme with no text. Like all of it has been taken by people who aren't using it. Now, in some of these cases, like Twitter, once we have a little bit more clout, we'll be able to be like, hey, Twitter, can we have this? Because we literally have a following built around this. And more often than not, they'll be like, yeah, sure. There you go. Otherwise, though, it just sucks. But that's why we have been trying to stay consistent with having iRedditcast be the thing on everything, except for Patreon. And the original reason for Patreon being patreon.com/dailyinternet was because it's easy. It's really easy to say and remember. And also, I'm not sure if we can change it now. I mean, we kind of just threw the Patreon together, and like we're getting better at this process of stuff. So, in any case, if you are in any way involved or interested in Reddit, we have a subreddit now. It's a good place for you to talk about the show, good place for you to submit news stories that you'd like us to talk about. Once again, you can just it's iRedditcast is the actual name of the subreddit. In any case, let's keep moving on, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says emphatically. Except
are you calling me fat?
No.
Damn it! I really wish I was.
Because that means you wouldn't be terribly hungry.
Yeah, I could just sit there and I would be able to consume myself.
Maybe it just means that you're more hungry.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would
be
okay with that.
Israel hacked Kaspersky and then tipped the NSA that its tools had been breached.
Whoa. This was submitted by Geek Team 6 to our technology. That's not fucking good.
Yeah, so Kaspersky Lab, and what they are is they are a anti-hacking agency, essentially. Like, they're supposed to be a security function in terms of the best way to think of it. Think of them like...
Don't they have, like, a free antivirus thing that people can download?
Yeah, and that's what they specialize in, and a large amount of governments around the world use them. Now,
they use Kaspersky?
A good amount of them do. Federal level.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know. Here in the state of Alaska, we use ass-fuck McAfee.
Yeah. I was going to say, is it McAfee? I thought it was McAfee.
Whatever. It's bad is what it is. In any case.
Yeah, that's true. Fucking, that thing's butthole.
So anyway.
I fucking use free AVG.
Kaspersky is based in Moscow, and Israeli government hackers hacked into Kaspersky Labs and found that they had a whole bunch of hacking tools, and the hacking tools they had were certified by the National Security Agency. And Israel notified the NSA, and the NSA said, we didn't give them any of our hacking tools. And they went, well, here they are. We found them in their files and stuff. And the NSA went, hold the fuck on, wait, what? And there's been a lot of discuss about Kaspersky, if they have any involvement in terms of colluding with the Russian government. And with them having that possibility, and then apparently also having NSA hacking tools, means that the Russians could hack in without any problem, since they literally have all of our tools.
They've made backdoor keys to all of our sets of keys.
Yeah, they literally just have the key itself, for the most part.
A good replica. Pretty much the exact same thing, because you can clone things on a computer.
Yeah. So, That's interesting. Now, there is no evidence right now that any of it was given to Russia. Just there is the potential for it because there's already a lot of speculation about, like I said, Kaspersky Labs colluding with Russian government officials.
Right. Dude, this entire Russian government thing's really fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't imagine they're the only ones. I imagine every other country does it. Just Russians, I guess, don't care enough. They're just like, yeah, fuck it. They're gonna find out.
Russians are just, it's like they care so much about not caring.
It's really kind of interesting. Yeah, do not give fucks.
Yeah, we hacking. It's fine. We all know each other's secrets anyway.
Yeah, не хочу.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
8.
Trump reportedly asked for a tenfold increase in U.S. nukes, which is what prompted Tillerson to call him a moron.
This is submitted by PK Vam to Our Politics. I would agree with him in this scenario. Flex Tillerson is absolutely right.
Flex Tillerson, yeah!
Why would we need tenfold more nukes? We already have more nukes than everybody else.
Well, and the ridiculous thing about that prospect, so the most nukes we've ever had is right after the Cuban Missile Crisis, right around 1969, it jumped up to the highest number of nukes we've ever had, which is right around like 31,000 warheads. Now, since then, we have drastically reduced the number of warheads we have had to right around 5,000, and it's been slowly going down since then as we are slowly decommissioning more and more and more and more of them.
Are they actually, they're not approaching their half-life, are they?
No.
They're just not going to be used.
Right. So now the thing is that a tenfold increase, so 10 times the number we have, would be more than we've ever had before.
Ever.
So that suggestion is in and itself ridiculous. Now Trump has already responded to this. He said it's fake news.
I never asked for more nukes.
So I mean, regardless whether it's true or not, we don't need more nukes. Nukes.
Where did we get the source of the information?
NBC. Which are the same people that reported about Tillerson calling Trump a moron.
Okay, so they're just kind of following it up with it?
Well, apparently this is actually coming out of a briefing that has been confirmed by 3 anonymous White House officials. So, I mean, now, and reportedly Trump asked military officials present to expand the arsenal to approximately 10 times its current size. There's not been any information about why. But, I mean, what I really think this is, I think it's more like, apparently we have an update from Mr. Chadwick in the chat room. He says, Mattis said this was fake news. It very well could be. Especially because we keep on getting different information regarding the whole moron statement. I mean, originally...
I mean, the only thing we really know is that Tillerson totally called him a fucking moron.
That's the one thing that I think we do know. Like, Flex Tillerson would not comment on whether he called the president a moron or not, and... I think that's where it's coming from, really, is that we know that he called him it, but people are now presenting different reasons as to why he called it. Because the original story was that after the huge campaign speech that was given to the Boy Scouts of America is when Tillerson called him a moron. And the belief there was because Flex Tillerson used to be the president of the Boy Scouts of America, which, I mean, that made sense. This time, they're saying that it's because Trump asked for a tenfold increase in the nuclear warheads. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it matters either.
I feel like it really doesn't. It's one dude saying another dude's a fucking moron. I call the goddamn president a moron all the time.
Well, the more important thing is that, the Secretary of State's right below the president and can lead to a hostile work environment. Whereas if we call the president a moron, he never even knows.
God, let's get a Twitter thing going so that we can let the president know that we think he's a moron.
Dude, if we got every single one of our listeners to tweet it out, it wouldn't even hit trending on Twitter. Okay?
No, dude, we just gotta present ourselves in a way that other people would be like, yeah, these dudes totally called him a moron. Yeah, let's fucking retweet.
That's important.
Retweet.
Not important. Either way.
Retweet if you agree or don't agree. Let's do this, guys.
the military has also been taking a different direction when it comes to nuclear capabilities. Instead of, having these massive nukes that level cities, they're looking at highly effective smaller nuclear warheads that can be more effectively used, that could actually potentially be used rather than being a deterrent.
Mini
nukes. Chadwick says I'm biased, so take that with a grain of salt. No, that's fine. And I mean, the government, they respond with fake news to a lot of things, which, I mean, it's difficult to prove, especially when it's only one news outlet that is having this report coming out. No one else is confirming it outside of anonymous White House officials. There's a lot of questions to be raised there. Now, with the responses that have been given, I think it's pretty clear that Flex Tillerson did call him a moron. Is that relevant? Maybe, maybe not. But it does show some level of unrest in the Trump administration, which, I mean, there's a lot of people hopeful that, it'll crash and burn. Which you really shouldn't hope that the Trump administration crashes and burns, because they're technically the ones in charge. Like, I want Trump to do a better job. I don't want Trump to fail, because that means the President of the United States failed.
Yeah, that's fair. Should he have been put in that position in the first place? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Find out next time in 2020. Right? Yeah, 2020. Yeah. But that means you should still vote in the upcoming elections, people.
Yeah, just vote in general.
Vote in 2018, everybody. Even if you're going to vote for the people that's in there, just go vote, please.
7.
Google will hit 100% renewable energy this year. The company is primarily powered by wind and solar energy.
This was submitted by Mavia to Futurology.
Yep, so Google, after building a few of its own and then also purchasing 100% of the output from several different energy producers, at the end of this year, by the end of this year, will have put forth 100% of its energy costs completely fueled by renewable sources.
That's amazing. Now, and Google's richer than most countries.
That's true.
So if we take...
Google's richer than our own country.
If we take Google and just ask them how they fucking do all this, we could eventually branch that out to all these other countries.
Well, here's the interesting thing, by the way, is that Google... The way that they're achieving 100% renewable power is not quite completely accurate, because they are still going to have some locations that are powered by traditional power sources. However, the way that they're getting through with that, around that, by being able to claim that they're 100% renewable energy powered, is that they are purchasing more renewable energy for some places than what... And then selling the excess, essentially, so that the amount of renewable energy that they have purchased and given back to the energy grid makes up for the amount that, they're building out and wherever uses.
Okay, so it's kind of like I don't know, it's to even the books up.
Right. And so, okay. I mean, technically, they can say, yes, 100% of our energy is made with 100% of the power we use is through renewable, because the amount of energy in and out that they work with, they can account for the little bit that they use from non-renewable by giving extra through the renewable sources.
I like that. I really enjoy that. I also enjoy how there's like this group of people who get their renewable energy and they just kind of trade it to people.
Yeah.
I fucking absolutely love that.
So in any case...
I was thinking about getting some solar panels for our place, but at the same time, Alaska's not great for solar.
It is not great for solar. Also, you don't own your place. Also, they're kind of expensive, and you have other things you need to worry about.
Rick wouldn't care.
I know.
We'd be like, hey, Rick, can we install solar panels? And he'd be like, hey, can I keep them after you guys move out? And we'd be like, sure, why the fuck not? And he'd be like, sure.
Yeah. Either way, you have other economic things, financial things to worry about first.
Yeah, like my kidney.
Yeah.
6.
FCC claim that one ISP counts as competition faces scrutiny in court.
This is submitted by Reddit reviewer to our news.
What a bogus claim.
One single one.
Like, there is no such thing as competition if you only have one option. I'm just saying. So now what it is they're putting forth the claim of potential competition, saying that you have more than one option if there is another provider that has a location they provide to within a half-mile radius of your location.
Oh.
With the claim that most providers are willing to put in the infrastructure to bring connection to someone who is within a half-mile from a location they already have.
Is that necessarily true?
No,
I want
it's
to see the history. I want to see the history of this.
It's completely fucking false in like every way.
Yeah,
like
that's what I figured.
Like if you are one person and they have a spot a half-mile away, they are not putting a line into your house unless you want to pay for it.
Yeah, you have to pay for the infrastructure.
And so, like, it's completely bogus. And most people only have one option. And sure, there might be another option a half-mile away, and there's like 3 houses down the street that have 2 options. But there are also people on the other side of the bench that are all now arguing like even 2 options is not a competition. Like in a lot of ways, it isn't, because instead of a monopoly, it just becomes a duopoly, and those people work together to control the market through 2 separate means. But they're still in the game together to get the most money that they can.
I kind of want to see a board game where people are playing duopoly. You know, it's like Monopoly, but you have teams.
I mean,
that being said, duopolies are just as bad as monopolies. It's at that point, it's kind of like a shell game. They're just kind of shifting money back and forth.
Well, couldn't you already play team-based Monopoly anyway?
I mean, you can if you decide to agree with people, but ultimately, you're gonna have to dick someone out to win at Monopoly.
That's fair, I suppose. Do you know that
this way it could be a team building exercise instead of a team destroying exercise?
Did you know that almost everyone plays Monopoly wrong?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because I've had to read the rules several times working in a children's daycare.
Like people, Monopoly takes forever because there's one particular rule that most people skip over. If you land on a property that has not been purchased, and you either cannot or choose not to purchase it, it then is supposed to go up to auction to the table, which means that no matter what, when a property is landed on, it will be owned by someone.
Yep.
And that makes the game take about 30 minutes instead of 4 hours.
The another important thing is that there is a reverse game of Monopoly. It is a game where you're trying to spend all your money.
Nice. Okay.
It's called Go for Broke.
Okay. Do you play with a standard Monopoly board?
No.
Okay.
It's a separate board.
Okay.
But it plays very similar to Monopoly, except instead of trying to attain money, you're trying to spend all your money.
Okay.
5.
Utah police officer who handcuffed and dragged nurse in video has been fired.
Hey, this was submitted by Shearist to our Justice Served.
Yep, and it's like the reason that people were a little bit like questionable on this. I mean, we talked about the video before with the whole officers ordering this nurse to draw blood from someone who was a victim of a car crash. He said no, and the reason why is because they didn't have a warrant. He wasn't under arrest, and he wasn't awake to give consent. And so they intended to just escalate the situation to try to force compliance, and it didn't work. In this case, Detective Jeff Payne has been let go from the Utah Salt Lake City Police Force for basically making a really bad judgment call. Now, don't feel too bad for the guy. 1, he made a really bad call, and 2, he's not so much being fired as being forced retirement. He has been a cop for 27 years.
Yeah, that is pretty much forced retirement.
Yeah, so, I mean,
realistically, we shouldn't be aiming for him, though. We should really be aiming for the person who told him to do it. Because that was the thing, right? That was the thing that a higher up told them to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, so we should be pissed off at them. Don't sideline your anger because the scapegoat got what he deserved.
Well, I mean, I don't know, and that's a slippery slope because, like, the dude who told them to escalate it essentially wasn't there at the time, didn't have the full grasp on the situation. So, I don't know, maybe
at least reprimand him.
Oh, and maybe he was.
Don't let him out. Don't let him free. Well, I mean, go ahead and let him free, but don't let him get off scot-free. Like, that's just
Well,
No.
I mean, he didn't get off scot-free. I mean, so you're talking about the lieutenant, James Tracy. He was demoted.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I didn't know that.
Because he made the impulsive decision to order Payne to arrest the nurse. In this case, her name was Wubbles. Now, in that case, though, I mean, how they went about the arrest is probably a little bit off, and that's why he's being released.
That's, understandable.
So, I don't know.
Also, fuck you.
Either way,
That's one of my favorite parts about iReadit is that people get to people enjoy coming to the show to listen to me say fuck you.
You enjoy that specific aspect?
Just that specifically is like my favorite part of the show.
Sure.
4.
Donald Trump has state visit to United Kingdom downgraded and will not be a guest of the Queen.
This is submitted by Grepnork to Our Politics.
Yep, so I mean, we've talked about this off and on over the last year. Theresa May had offered Donald Trump a state visit. State visits are considered to be a very formal event from one world leader visiting another one. It's not necessarily official business. It's more of like literally kind of like a very, very formal invitation into their home. And that's really what the state visit is. And you normally get to have some talks with the Queen, meet leaders, hang out, have a good time, and then you leave. But there was a 1.8 million signatures on a petition to deny the state visit, including a large number of members of parliament speaking out against the possibility of a state visit from Donald Trump based on Donald Trump's recent actions over the last year, especially since January, involving how he has been a president of the United States. There's a large amount of people that disagree with it, feel that he is unfit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's a large amount of people, even in the UK, that feel that way. So they didn't want to do something that is considered one of the highest honors that the United Kingdom can offer to a foreign leader. Now, Donald Trump said, I'm not going to go over there until you can guarantee that I will have a better reception, because he just wants people to love him. And
he is the most narcissistic fuck, I swear to God.
Well, and I mean, I can understand not wanting to go visit another country, especially as a world leader, but not wanting to go there to nothing but protests.
Sure.
Like, I can understand that. Now, that said, apparently the state visit
if Erdogan did it, like, come on.
I mean, yeah, it's true. The state visit is being changed to a more business-oriented visit. There is no information about what they'll be discussing or when this is going to happen. And because it's not a state visit, it's not nearly as public, so it doesn't have to happen in such a way that everyone knows about it. So this means they could literally just like have him, fly over on a weekend without an announcement about it, which means that it would be able to prevent a large amount of the protests happening.
Sure, I can understand that. I don't know. I don't care if he goes over to England, right?
No, I think he should in any case.
As a leader, he absolutely should. They're one of our biggest allies. I don't care if he does. That being said, because I feel like he has a lot of work to do here. Also being said, I feel like I don't know. I feel like that this is warranted, but at the same time, it's still kind of just like getting him in under the rug.
Well, and like reportedly, one of the things they expect for them to be discussing is putting in a new embassy for the United States over in the UK, which would need his, discussion and approval on. So, I mean, if it's work stuff, that's fine. But the reason people were so opposed to the state visit is because it's it'd be Donald Trump hanging out with the Queen. Well, and it's not even, it's because of the formal nature of it. It's not work. It's, like a professional visit. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, and this isn't even on our side. This is mostly on the United Kingdom side. Like, members of the UK don't want him to come visit. They just don't. They're just like, no. I mean, we're over here, like, one, I understand why they don't want him to, but I'm also like, and I understand because of the nature of a state visit versus, like, a work visit, I also understand that difference. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't like Erdogan, but I wasn't going to tell him not to come here because he's the president of Turkey. Like, he's still a world leader. I'm not too big on Putin, but he's still the leader of Russia. Like, we still have to talk and work with these people.
I don't think Putin would ever really want to come to America.
No, probably not. But either way, like, the statement still stands of, like, these are people you have to work with regardless.
Stay with me. What if Putin, the only reason why he's doing all this shit is to get Alaska back?
I don't want to be part of Russia, Nathan.
It's the real question. Ya ni хочу. You're gonna have to learn that phrase a lot.
What does it mean? I don't know.
I don't want.
I don't want.
3,
Donald Trump threatens to shut down NBC and other TV news networks that criticize him.
God, this is submitted by Goya being tar politics. Do you want tyranny?
Well, I mean, shutting down the press because you don't like what they're saying is a pretty bad thing. In any case, so NBC, I mean, we've talked about NBC. They've been really going hard on, pulling that Trump whistle a few times in terms of criticism. And in terms of the recent stories that we've talked about, wanting the increase of the nuclear arsenal, the Moron stuff, Donald Trump, in his standard fashion, sent out a tweet that says, with all the fake news coming out of NBC and the networks, at what point is it appropriate to challenge their license? Bad for country, is what Trump tweets. And what he's talked about the licenses go through the FCC, which we've talked about them several times involving net neutrality, but the licenses for the individual channels, so like the NBC channel, the Disney channel, Spike TV, the HGTV, they all have to get a license to air through the FCC. And so what Trump is questioning is, can we challenge their license for, being fake news? And I think the answer is no, maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't think so, because I think that would be infringing upon their freedom of speech.
Well, and in this case, it's freedom of press.
There you go, freedom of press.
But I'm not sure what level that goes to, if there is restrictions involved with,
Shit, the National Enquirer is a fucking magazine, dude.
Yeah, but the rules for magazines versus television are different. There's even different regulations between broadcasts that are broadcast via satellite and cable networks. Sure. So, I mean, there might be the potential that you can shoot down a TV station if they cannot substantiate the news that they are providing. I mean, especially because, like, just what we talked about, just this week with coming out of NBC, like, a lot of it has this small little potential, like a thread of possibility in terms of truth, but they don't actually have anything hard that substantiates it. And that's the problem, like, with the tenfold nuclear thing. All that it is a briefing that was confirmed by 3 anonymous White House officials. But that's all we got. And we don't even know what the briefing is. We haven't seen it.
Yet.
Man.
Speaking of things that are supposed to be coming out soon, the JFK stuff is supposed to be coming out in like the 26th of October.
That is correct. We'll probably be talking about it tomorrow. That one spiked up right before the show, so it'll probably end up on tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably be talking about it again in 2.5 weeks.
When it, either does or does not.
Yeah. So... And if it does come out, what it contains. If it doesn't come out, I'm sure people will be filing, upset requests about it. In this case, neither ABC or NBC has released any type of response to the threat against their licenses. And I'm not even sure if I'd call it a threat. I mean, Trump likes to talk big a lot.
It's a very, very veiled threat.
Yeah, and so...
But that's like all Trump does, is veiled threats.
I mean, he follows through on some of them.
Some of them, yeah, but they're very veiled.
Well, and what I think it is more often than not, he would like to do something and then realizes that's not an actual avenue of something you can do.
Can't. Not allowed.
Yeah, so. And he also can't force the FCC to revoke their licenses because the FCC is technically an independent organization that doesn't answer to the White House.
So he can't even technically, do an inquiry about it, right?
Well, I mean, he could, but he cannot order the FCC to
do that.
To cancel their licenses.
2.
Eminem rips Donald Trump in blistering freestyle rap during BET Hip Hop Awards.
This is submitted by Highball Jordan, our politics.
Yeah,
I heard about this, but I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
So excited.
It's only about 4.5 minutes long.
Only about 4.5 minute freestyle.
And he goes really hard.
Well, I mean, it's Eminem. That's just him. He just goes hard.
Although I will say in this video, like he's got some stubble and some scruff and stuff on his face, and he's got a hat and a hoodie on and stuff. It doesn't look like him. Like,
well, yeah, like he's aged.
Yeah, he's 44.
Not surprisingly.
He's 44. In any case, and he hits on everything throughout this freestyle, talking about, the money that Donald Trump spends, focusing on the NFL instead of Puerto Rico. He hits on all of them. It's in the show notes if you want to go watch it for yourself. It's enjoyable. It is a freestyle, though, so don't expect, the music.
Don't expect the bars to be good.
Yeah, don't expect the bars to be good. There's no music, really, or anything like that. It is a freestyle in a parking garage. That was Chadwick asked the very first question that I thought when I read this, and it was, why is Eminem at the BET Awards?
Wow. It's not the Black Hip Hop Awards, it's Black Entertainment Television.
I know.
Black people can be entertained by white people.
Especially this one, right?
Yeah.
In any case, though, one of the things that I found most surprising, though, is one of the last statements he says, and the level of finality in which he says it. And I'm not going to read it out here because, one, they don't actually have the quotes, and I'm not going to play it either.
And you'll fucking ruin it for me.
But no, I'm just going to tell you what he said, okay?
Oh, okay.
And one of the last things he says in this freestyle is that if you are a fan of mine and you are on his side, you need to pick a side. And he's like, he says, I'm going to draw a line right now. Whichever one of those sides you're on, like, you either need to be with me or against me. And he's like, if you can't decide, I'll decide for you. And he tells anyone who is one of his fans that also supports Donald Trump, he says, fuck you. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's interesting.
Of course, also at this point in time, like, he's got so much money and so much success that he can say that.
He just doesn't give a fuck.
Also, he doesn't care. Like, that's been the thing about Eminem, like, aside from, like, his family and stuff, he's like, fuck you, I don't give a shit. Fuck you, I don't give a shit. Fuck you, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's just been his mentality for literally ever.
Like, his entire life.
Fucking, he ripped on Clinton when he was, rapping really early on now.
Chadwick says, so he's George Bush now?
In some ways.
Oh,
he's more like Gray Bush now, you know what I mean?
Can we have did George Bush ever try to rap? Was he ever that guy?
Oh my god, I hope so.
Because
that sounds amazing.
He needs to have been.
Oh, yeah. Oh. I'm George W.
1.
Sex with minor wife is to be considered rape, says the Supreme Court of India.
That's amazing. This is submitted by B. Danny K. to Our World News. Why minors are still, wives is beyond me, but, whatever.
Well, and here's the interesting thing, though, is that even if it is consensual, if you are married to a 17-year-old, this is in India. If you are married to a 17-year-old Indian and they consent to sex, you are technically breaking the law and can be charged with rape by the government itself.
That's really cool.
It's interesting. Especially because of, like, for instance, like, there are some people that are really young and, do make bad decisions when they're young. But this could also mean that, like, a 19-year-old is married to a 17-year-old and that 19-year-old can go to jail for rape because they had sex together. Like, and in that instance, it's like they're basically in the same point in life,
age, yeah.
Like, realistically. So, and there's been a lot of discussion about marital rape in India because it's not something you can be charged with in India.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the thing is, if they're over 18 and you force yourself on your wife, you won't get in trouble. But if you have intercourse with your wife, even consensually, and they're under the age of 18, you will get in trouble.
So I agree with some parts there, and I disagree with others.
Yeah, and that's really where the question comes in, is like, Chadwick says a huge step up from the age of consent being 9. The age of consent in India is actually 18, which is why they are labeling it as rape if you have sexual relations with your wife if she is under the age of 18.
It's just the age of marriage is.
Yeah, you can marry someone when they're 9, but they're not technically able to. The age of consent is not until 18. However, in the country of India, if you are married, you no longer have a right to consent if you are married and over the age of 18. So it's still really ass backwards in a lot of ways.
It's starting to progress forward.
I suppose, but like I don't know if this is really the right direction in terms of progress.
Well, the whole not consenting thing, or not consent, the whole under the age thing is definitely a step forward.
I suppose.
Let's not, not look at that. Are you saying you suppose? Like, I don't understand how you could say I suppose when they're saying it's against the law for you to have sex with someone under 17.
Under 18.
Under 18. No matter what. Like, how is that not a step forward?
Because you could literally be 17 and 18 years old.
You know what? I can wait a year.
I know. But at the same time,
a year is not a problem.
Here's where the problem is that 17 and 18-year-old, that's not okay. 18-year-old can force himself on his 18-year-old wife, completely okay.
Right. That's not what I'm getting at, though. I'm getting at what they did now is a step forward. They still have to take steps forward, but it is a step in the right direction.
I feel like it's a step sideways, not forward. Like, they took a step. I don't feel like it's actually progress, though. McLaughlin asked, do they have Romeo and Juliet laws there to deal with the close age thing? No, they do not. Chadwick says women can drive in Saudi Arabia and is now illegal to fuck children in India. That's progress, right?
Technically, yes.
I suppose, yeah. And, like, I feel like if there was a Romeo and Juliet law, it would be more okay.
Don't we have Romeo and Juliet laws up here?
I believe in most, if not all of America, we do. But, I mean, I feel like the progress for India is invalidated by the fact that there is no such thing as marital rape. Because rape is rape is rape.
I don't view it as invalidated. Because they're still taking that step forward. Things do take time to change in politics. You preach this literally all the fucking time.
Oh, I know. It's slow as shit.
So it's going to be slow for them to outlaw that as well.
I suppose.
It is still a step forward.
Maybe. I'll give you the smallest little baby step.
Sure, but it's still forward.
I suppose. I will concede to that, but I do not feel like it is actually genuinely the right form of progress. Because it even consensual, it is still marked as rape under their laws now.
Right.
Which
I do understand that.
Which is where I bring up the issue.
Right, which is why there is Romeo and Juliet laws in most states.
Yeah. Which, if they get one, then yeah, sure, this is no big deal. But right now they don't.
You just got to keep installing things, It is steps forward, but they are taking baby steps.
Sure. Now we just have to hope they actually take that baby step.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me! Nathan, what did you care about in the last 24 hours?
There's a Pinellas man. It's in Tampa Bay, which is in Florida. So it's a Florida man.
A Florida man?
Florida man Googled how to rob a bank and then robbed a bank.
This was submitted by a Ducator to R. Not the Onion.
This is kind of funny. This guy who was 26, he went to a bank at like 11 in the morning. He implied he had a gun and told the teller to give him cash and then ran from the store. And then promptly used the money on utilities, rent, and a drug binge. So I feel like this is hilarious because a man Googled how to rob a bank before robbing a bank. But at the same time, I kind of feel for the man because he did it to pay rent, utilities, and to feed a drug addiction.
Well, he has been booked and with $100,000 bail.
Yeah. Which, I mean, shit, that's a fuckload of money. But at the same time, he kind of did rob a bank.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, you kind of screwed the pooch.
Although, so...
Except it might be illegal to screw pooches in Florida.
100% do not do this at all, no matter what. And if you do...
Disclaimer, don't rob banks.
If you do this, I am in no way liable. I'm telling you that right now. There was a conversation on Reddit with a acclaimed bank robber And he did this full AMA because he had just gotten out of prison and he had robbed something like 98 banks or something like that. And and he explained his process and said robbing banks is extremely easy. Here's what you do. Unfortunately, it only works in certain places. Okay, and here's what they do. You need to live in either in a very large area or near one. You need to drive to a town that you do not a town or area of town that you are not commonly a part of, so people won't recognize you or anything like that. You wear the standard sunglasses and a baseball cap. You walk in. You either have a gun or insinuate you have one. Demand the cash in the drawer. Don't ask for anything else, just what they have on them. All of the tellers of all major banks have been taught and instructed to just give the person what they want to avoid any level of panic or casualties. He says normally you'll get around $5,000 from this, and then you will leave. There might be a little bit of a search and investigation for anywhere between 24 to 48 hours, but the reason that he was always so successful is because he never stole very much, because he would only take what was available in the drawer. And because of that, because the bank would be like, oh, well, we lost the $4,000 that was in the drawer, it would then cost the bank more time and more money than what was lost to try to get it back. So if the cops cannot find the person, also because the cops have other stuff to do, if they can't find anything or get anything on you within 1 or 2 days, then they give up. And that's how he was able to just do it over and over and over and over and over again. Is he'd drive 2 hours to another town, do it that he never was into, would walk in, say, give me everything in the drawer. They would. He'd leave, sit on the money for a week, and then just roll on it. And because he also had the advantage of he's like I'm a 5'11" white dude, 180 pounds. You know how many people look like me? All of them. Every single white dude looks like me. So in that particular case, like the reason he got caught was because he turned himself in. Because he started to...
So he didn't even get caught.
No, he's like, I got bored, I started to feel bad, my conscience got to me, and I turned myself in. I only was indicted on 5 of the robberies. All of the other ones were ignored. And so I did like 4 years in prison and am now out.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So you didn't hear it from me, and don't do it.
All right, so if we're talking about things you didn't hear from... This is something you didn't hear from me.
Okay.
It's actually in a book. There are people who will go around like Walmart and pick up in like either the tops of trash bins or people just dropping. They'll find receipts, and they'll go through the receipts and pick up all the items, and on their way around the store, or not all the items, some of the items, and on their way around the store, they'll break open the box. Then they'll go over to the place where you exchange, and they'll just return it for cash.
Sure.
I feel like this would be something that you would do in Walmarts and everything.
No.
That you're not.
And that is old practice, Nathan.
Yeah.
Modern,
but still, like
modern ones are even worse than that. So my mom works at Lowe's, right? And has legitimately watched someone walk over to the shelf, pick up a $400 drill kit off the shelf, walk right out the door with it, didn't even hide it in a jacket, nothing, just in hand, walked out the door, walked across the store, back into the other door, and say, I want to return this. And they're like, do you have a receipt? No, I don't have the receipt, but I know I got it here and I want to return it. They're like, well, we can't give you cash. We can give you a gift card, though. And they go, cool. And so they get a $400 gift card and sell that for $350.
That's amazing.
No, it's not.
Well, no. Okay, so it amazes me. So it is amazing.
There you go. Sure.
By definition. So fuck you.
Sure.
Just like how in the same sense that it's awesome.
Sure.
Because it brought awe to me.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Fuck you.
Okay.
But holy shit, people can be smart sometimes.
Well, not to mention ballsy. Like, literally just...
You have to have a fucking set. And I'm not talking like an actual set of balls. Like, women can have balls, too. Which, I mean, shit, cunts... Or not just... vaginas are more durable than balls. Fuck.
So, 2 things that I cared about. 1, I came home from work early today. You know why? Because there was an incident at school where apparently one little kid tried to punch my little kid. So.
Oh? Did she like fuck him up with her goddamn jujitsu?
No, and after we got the
taekwondo, whatever.
After we got the full story, it sounded like an accident. They were playing tag. Little kid got a little too aggressive. Realized he'd accidentally hurt our kid, and then was like, "I'm sorry. You know what? Just punch me in the balls." which
I used to do that all the time.
Which tells me this kid has siblings. Like, no, don't tell. You can hurt me back. Just kick me in the nuts. Like,
yeah, I used to do that all the time.
So that happened. The other thing is I was talking to Jennifer today, and I thought of like, and I'm just sure there's so many holes in this idea, but like this form of auto insurance, right? And what it is like I'm trying to get in contact with my insurance company. I'm over the age of 25. My last speeding ticket is over 3 years old, so my insurance should go down. And I was like, wait a minute, why do we insure the vehicle itself? Because like my brain said, wouldn't it make more sense instead for me, Michael Schwan, to have auto insurance? So for instance, like let's say I buy a $50,000 plan on myself. And this isn't health insurance, this isn't life insurance, this is a $50,000 auto insurance plan that is tacked on to Michael Schwan. And so any car I get into, my policy covers up to $50,000 when I'm in that car. And so it means that, you know, my car that's not worth very much anymore, you know, it covers that. If I jump into Jennifer's car, even if I wasn't on her policy, it would cover that. If I jump into, like, Adam's car, it would cover his car, because the policy isn't on the car. It's on me. Now, however, if I jump into, like, a Porsche, and the Porsche is worth $75,000, and let's say I total it, my policy only covers $50,000, I'm liable for the other $25,000.
You want to know why this idea will never fly?
Why?
Because you can charge more separately for each individual car than you can per person. Because each household tends to have, or each person sometimes will have more cars than themselves. Each household tends to have 3 to 4 cars.
Right, no, and I understand. And that's why, like you said, it'll probably never happen, because they can get more money out of, you know, insuring multiple vehicles. But at the same time, it just made more sense to me. That way you don't run into the issue of like having someone driving an uninsured vehicle.
Sure. But it would be nice, but then it also stops the state from collecting on tickets for not having insurance.
Well, I mean, you could still not have insurance. Like you have no reason to have auto insurance. You don't have a car.
Right.
So.
But I did have a car at one point.
Sure. But you get the idea behind it. Mm-hmm. So, like, and Chadwick makes it a good point. He's like, it seems like the deduction on that would be really high. Yeah, it probably would. But
absolutely,
it was an idea that I thought of randomly, and I was like, I kind of like this idea. I think I'll share it with people.
Congrats.
Thanks.
There you go.
In any case, shall we get out of here? Oh, geez, we're almost at an hour.
Depart so I can beat another single level of Cuphead.
I wish you luck, buddy. Okay, everybody, this was our 365th episode, and that's why, like, for those that watch the video, we had this new layout, this new interface, this new overlay, updated look, so it looks like a news ticker and all this stuff. We launched the live feed on YouTube. It says there's 2 people watching, which one of them is
you and me.
Nope, because you were in here, because it doesn't count me. Like, Facebook doesn't count me as a viewer because I am the host. It doesn't count my views. So someone else is watching on YouTube, and I don't know who it is.
Well, it's me.
Well, yeah, you're one, but there's 2 in there, and one of them isn't me.
I don't know. Maybe it's the guy who hated my picture.
Maybe. I hope so. In any case, if you aren't able to catch the show on Facebook, if you want to catch the live show on YouTube instead, it is available on there. Just, you know, different preferences, different audiences, whatever people like. I know, you know, some people would rather have
whatever floats your boat, kid.
Yeah, I mean, also because, you know, for Facebook, I think you have to sign in and stuff like that, whereas you probably don't have to on YouTube. But either way, it gives you an additional option. Chadwick asked, when do you get ads? I'll share your stuff 1,000,000 times. 1, I appreciate you immensely. And 2, we cannot get ads until we get 10,000 total views on YouTube. We're at like 700 right now because we're still building up the viewer base on YouTube. We also can't get a unique URL on YouTube until we get to 100 subscribers, and we're at 13 right now, I think. 14. So in terms of when we can start monetizing things on YouTube, we need 86 more subscribers and like 9,300 more views across the whole channel.
By the time we get 86 more subscribers, we might be, at least halfway, if not more there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Chadwick, that is the total across all videos. We need 10,000 views across all the videos. I mean, so in which case, if you want to share the videos from YouTube, that helps. So basically sharing us anywhere helps. Sharing us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, any of them, they all help because it helps increase our visibility, helps more people find the show. McLaughlin says he wants to hear us discuss the Vegas shooting. I can look up which episode we talked about that because we already talked about it.
Like day of.
I remember the episode title was called Viva Las Vegas because, live on Las Vegas. I can actually tell you the episode number in just a moment if you'll give me just a second to pull that up. In any case, also we launched a subreddit today. Nope, this is not going to be the right spot. I know how I can find it. In any case, yeah, we launched our subreddit today, which means that if you want to submit stories, news stories, anything at all for us to talk about on the show, even if it isn't something recent, you can do so on our subreddit. Search iReadit cast for the subreddit. Like I said earlier, we cannot get iReadit because someone is sitting on it because they're jerks. But other than that, though, you can also send it to us via email, feedback.ireadit@gmail.com. You are going to want episode number 359, Mr. McLaughlin. That it should be available in the Facebook feed. It's available on YouTube. Yeah, there's several things. If you want to just listen to the audio version, it's on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, basically anywhere you normally get your podcasts. So yeah, episode 359 if you would like to listen to what happened in terms of Vegas.
Yeah. And share that video too.
Yeah, share that one as well. Share us. Share them all. Do it. Helps us grow. Other ways that you can also help, like I said, we talked about sharing and stuff like that. 5-star reviews, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all of those. It increases visibility. Like, subscribe on any of the platforms. Follow the group on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. That all helps a lot. Follow us on the social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram. That helps a lot. And then, of course, you can always just throw money at us. That's a real great one, too. Patreon.com/dailyinternet is where you can support us financially. If you can spare $12 a year, $1 a month, please go to patreon.com/dailyinternet. Of course, if you want to give more, I won't tell you no, but you don't have to. Just any support is, of course, appreciated in whatever form you can offer it. If you want to just follow us in any case on almost all social media, I am at Schwan Michael and Nathan is at Bimmenstein if you're more worried about our personal lives, and that's perfectly understandable and acceptable. And that's it. That was a lot of talking. Nathan, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, this has been your 365th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everybody,
Don't get eliminated!
have a good day, everyone.